What up, my nerds? This show is so much better when we have someone as brilliant as Jaedong to look at. What beautiful play by the Dong. Oh! In daily number 645 here, we've seen a lot of subtlety in the opening in part 1, and a lot of very clever relationships between how Jaedong's doing his composition of Ling Bane Ling Muta, and then how he's positioning his Ling Bane Ling Muta. All with a very, very fast hive. We're at 23 minutes, and this might sound like utter and total malarkey. And I know I don't want to use as foul language as malarkey on this fucking show, but seriously, this sounds crazy. 23 minutes is not that... it's pretty common to like be starting layer or going for, excuse me, starting hive or going for hive. We don't normally have like chitinous plating and ultralisk cavern done. This is because of this rather swift transition to an infestation pit. So now we see that Jaedong has not quite locked out this expansion, but at the very least done substantial damage. We actually see 42 workers for excuse me, for TaeJa. So great. Jaedong's being a little aggressive. Yup, he ends up losing some Mutalisk to mines, but that's okay. Notice that he's continuing to just set stuff up on the flanks, as is to be expected. A little bit of a flub, accidentally neglecting pathogen glands. Could have been researched a little earlier, but in the meantime, many Ultralisks, many Ling Bane Ling along these flanks. Not a lot of Ling Bane Ling back home. Lots of expanding. Okay, let's speed things up a bit. Now is when the Infestors really need to start coming out. Infestor Ultralisk is so good! If there were just a few Infestors in this force, the game would probably be done right now. Just because it would have been some tremendous fungals. Would have been some pretty bejugular fungals.
Mineral field depleted. The hive cluster is under attack.
Jaedong losing expansions, etc. Me getting distracted by chat. You know, the usual. Barely losing it. But that's fine. This is sort of the more difficult part of this mid-game period. Generally, Jaedong is going to be sort of hoping to have been in a better spot with this fourth by now. He's still in a fantastic spot. But this is America, nothing wrong with wishing for more and better. That counterattack didn't go very well because it had no Zerglings accompanying it, which is pretty usual in this phase in the game because we're trying to replace all of our food with Ultralisk and Infestor. And I do think that one thing that is kind of hurting Jaedong at this moment in time is just that these expansions are on opposite sides. I kind of almost want an Expo here and an Expo here, so that we can just chill on one side, because even if this dies, well, you know, it was mined out anyways. Now that we are at the Ultra Tech, we're not as thirsty for larva as we once were. What's really cool, though, is in these late game scenarios, Jaedong can actually just not have his Mutalisks at home defending. He can have Ultra Infestor at home defending and have these Mutalisks out there on the field dealing the damage. In this position, Jaedong is taking these right two bases, which I like. This base, it's fine, but I would call this almost like a dud base. If it dies, then, I should say if it's attacked, probably would not worry that much about it. I'd probably focus more on these expos and attacking. And the last little piece to the puzzle, I mean, this is sort of like an obvious transition that I think everyone likes. If you go for Ultra Infestor, what's your opponent going to build? Marauders! Marauders, Marauders. 18 Marauders. Where are the barracks with the tech labs? Here's two. Here's third. Is that it? Wow. Damn, Jaedong really, he brought the noise hard. Yeah, we got some Marauders coming out. And Marauders are really bad against Broodlords. Nice. We're eating into his ability to play with our tech properly. Yeah. Oh, Jaedong, you're so good. Really beautiful transition. Who doesn't love the dong?
Mineral field depleted.
Alright, so his stuff is dying. Broodlords are getting made, and this is just a terrifying defensive position to be in. We are sitting there with no knowledge of what's up. Burrowed Zerglings can help. Having some active speed overlords doing things like poaching along these lines can help. It is truly just hard, especially when you're trying to micro and be as gung-ho with your mutas as Jaedong is. It's doing some pretty absurd damage. If I had to center these units myself, probably would do something like this, having killed off that. This expansion is just always going to be a dead expansion. It's impossible to have two key expansions on the right and hope to keep that alive. But now we're starting to see this theme with Jaedong, where he's starting to be able to peel away this Infestor Ultra too, because he has these Broodlords with a couple of reinforcements that are going to be holding down the fort here. So I want you to just appreciate this, getting the Ultra Infestor to allow the Ling Muta to move out, and then getting the Broodlords to allow the Ultra Infestor to move out. Legit! Alright, cool. This is where the Dong joins his forces together for death. His expansion structure is shattered. He should re-expand here. He's gotta do that. He's taking control of mid. Taking control of mid is a green ticket to take this right side of the map. Would love now to actually bring these mutas back and over, because then, I mean, hell, with mutas here, guarding the skies, these two are covered from drops. This force in the middle is covering from ground, and the mutas here can even join in with the force. Infestor, Broodlord, Ultralisk is awesome. This drop is bad for Jaedong. Mutalisks, I wish that you were here to take out the medevac dropship. It's so easy to lose bases when you're just a little bit out of position with an extremely slow army like Ultra Muta Broodlord, but let's be honest, this Ultra Muta Broodlord army is pretty scary looking. Plus Jaedong, look at that. Look at that sexy distribution of minerals and gas. The kind that Zergs just drool about. Dude, think of what I could do if I just had 3k gas in the bank. Oh! Now we obviously want to have all our Zerglings into Banelings. Not just because, you know, it's going to be good, but because we're maxed. So if we have our supply being devoted to anything, we don't want it devoted to cheap units like Zerglings. Banelings cost the same supply as Zerglings and are, on the whole, better than Zerglings. It's just a cost differential thingy. And a very slow base trade begins. And I like how Jaedong does this. He just pulls back some of the Infestor Ultra Broodlord and has most of his Infestor Broodlord just chilling at the front. And he doesn't need to do anything more here. He can actually literally stay put. This expansion's dead. This expansion's dead. This expansion's dead. Starvation mode! I think that this would be a really tough position if this base were up and if this base were up. But this is a very easy just contain. Not much here, but we also have complete vision of what's up here. Kind of a cool thing happens. This attack goes down, And Jaedong has only one drone. The slow attack, very easy, very straightforward. Just get to hang out here, just be in the way of the army. Moving in here to the front is fine. He's just basically preventing reinforcements from cleanly walking down here. And with everything nearing deadedness... Oh, the Brood Infestors. Oh, how scary the Brood Infestors are. What an amazing game. Oh, oh! Got him! Was that the sickest game or what? Or what? What a beautiful game. Absolutely gorgeous. Very slick. Jaedong set himself up very nicely. TaeJa defended himself very nicely. Which is one of the reasons why TaeJa was able to step and go toe-to-toe with Jaedong in that late game position. Also, I think Jaedong spread his expansions out a little bit too much. Could have just focused along one side and then sort of infester, spined along the other. Let's actually look at that moment in time. Wow, I hit that right on the dong. This moment, I mean, look at this expansion setup. How can you defend? That's just way too hard to defend. I almost think that putting some simple defenses here, or just simply having a lot of vision here, while positioning the army here. In general, your army should be closer to where the screen is dark, to where you don't have vision. You can have almost no army anywhere close to here as long as you have a lot of vision within this area. And then these two expansions would have been more straightforward to defend. Because as we sort of zoom forward in time, I think... can't remember exactly when it happens. Yeah. This moment in time, right at 29 minutes, I think showcases the notion of keeping your army closer to the black. So Jaedong has his army here. Probably still kind of wants it here so he can easily get up to this one. I mean, there might not even be anything wrong with just having the whole army here, because the vision is so far up in mid. But look at this army right here that's very far away from the blackness. This army that I'm hovering over. You see nothing. Nothing, 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 nothing. There's actually a whole army right there, and then there it is. And we see this army. Oh no. We're tragically too late, so now we have to abandon ship and cut up. Oh no, and we're trying to chase and... screw it, I'll counterattack. And this base died, and this base isn't very well defended. Those are the things that I think. So let's take some questions. Drodo says, Day 9, in part 1, you talked about the opportunity cost for larva in the early game. In late game, you would have queens up. Do you lose larva when production, when a hatchery has 4 more larvae sitting on it? Yep. Or larva, injected larva part of a separate set entirely. Yeah. Okay, from what I know, if a hatch has more than 3 larvae at it, it doesn't produce natural larvae. You can have more larvae than that sitting thanks to the queen, but when it pops off, you've got to just burn it immediately. And I say from what I know, because that is what I believe. And I'm like 95% certain of that. Why the chroma key? Because I am in San Francisco. I'm not in my room, but I like my room, so I chroma key myself into my room. Codway, says Day9, how do you get that poof in front of your hair? Is it magic? This poof is actually the result of putting a little conditioner in the hair after you get out of the shower and doing a little flopping, plopping up. Will I be in Toronto for WCS? Yes. Fat Michael, I will. Let's see. Anton Bischoff Frederick says, Day 9, do you think it is crucial to keep a good mute account into the late game versus Terran? kind of like a gradient of the importance as it goes down. Probably in the late game you don't need any. I would say there comes a point where you don't really want to necessarily replenish them, but if you have Ling Ultra, Baneling, you're still probably going to want Mutas. And if you have Infestor Ultra, I think it's okay to begin pulling out Mutas if you can replace with Spines for defense. Otherwise, you're dead. I think that's what I feel. Beef or chicken in the tacos? Beef! Dr. Lol suit. Conway asks a question that is fascinating to me, because I get these sort of questions a lot. Day 9, are there plans for casting during BlizzCon? I'm not in charge of that. I can't invite myself to BlizzCon. The announcement would be something from Blizzard, since they can control who casts and who does not cast. But sometimes, when I'm not casting the finals, and like Amaro's in Korea, and Monte Cristo and Doha were casting the finals of WCS, someone's like, "Why aren't you casting the finals?" I was like, I don't know. I don't run the production. It's not my show. I can't be like, "All right, guys, I'm casting the finals. Get out of here." Oh yeah, this week's Fun Day Monday, and how do I join from Lazy Couch 1? Lazy Couch, submit to me a replay to Monday at day9.tv of you winning a game with a mass contaminate strategy. That could be consistent contaminating throughout the whole game. That could be one sweet splurge of 8 Overseers ruining all his production and you sweeping in and killing him. It could be either one of those. The important thing is that it is awesome and contaminate based. Submit that to Monday at day9.tv. Let's take, I don't know, 2 more questions? Here's a question from Toy Soldier QDS. Day 9 is new player. What race is the best to start on from a mechanics point of view? 4v4. And you asked about race, and I'm giving you a better answer. Go play some 4v4 and have some damn fun. Just play the game a lot and work on your mechanics in an environment that is stress-free. You can die. Just be dead. And 3/4 of your team is still left, and you can like rebuild from there, and you're having a good old time. I don't recommend stepping into the stress of building mechanics in the 1v1 environment. I do not recommend that at all. Not at all. I am a veteran of the RTS competitive scene, and I am forced to take long breaks between playing just because of the rise and fall of the tournament season when I have more work and less work. And when I come back, mechanics are the things that I have to work back into, and I have huge lost streaks that result from just forgetting about something dumb like, oh yeah, that's right, I just didn't build detection for DTs, and then I die. But my mechanics that I was focusing on were really good, and that experience is frustrating. I'm a tank, I can handle that, but I know a lot of people get frustrated in that. So play 4v4s, where when your teammates gets DT rushed, you're like, oh shit, it sucks to be that guy. Starting in eBay. Oh, that's totally fine. Play 4v4s. They're so fun. Or 3v3s. And if you need a 4v4 partner, go to day9.tv and post about it. Last question from Hipox7 Day 9. I'm a new player to the game, and I was wondering if you know how to speed up the APM. First and foremost, here's the patented Day 9 method to improving your APM. First of all, spam. Spam, spammity, spam, spam, spam. That's right, I'm encouraging you to spam. As a precursor to spamming, think about what you want your hotkey setup to be. Make sure you have something brilliant, such as 5 as command center, 1 as your scouting worker, 6 as barracks, 7 as factory, 8 as starport, 9 and 0 as centers for upgrading, 4 is the medevacs going to do drops. Something like this. Set it up smart and then go spam it. I don't mean do good shit with it. I mean spam like a fool. Play a terrible strategy that's fun. Hell, play a 4v4, go spam your buns off, and get used to the feeling of clicking quickly. Even just go like 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 5 1 5 1 5 1 8 click 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 1 click 5 click 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 s s s s s s s s s. Just do that and get used to doing that. After you've done this for a while, you'll feel a little bit like a tweak. Your hands will feel nice because now there's a lot of blood and happy chemicals going into them because your body's like, oh my god, give him all the chemicals. He needs to put them in the hands. And then once you've done that, then you can begin the process of utilizing said APM. And the best way to begin to actually build useful APM, now that your hands are used to it, is to think of a sequence of 4 or 5 actions and to execute that sequence very quickly. Sequence is the key word of that. Sequence. You are going to look like a 16-year-old at prom because of all your sequence. Here's what I see people falsely think that playing fast is about. They will make boxes really fast. All right, let's get my Marines. All right, send them over there. They do individual motions really fast. I want to be fast. I want to build barracks. BB click doom. All right. And you get someone who actually looks like a dancer in Michael Jackson's Thriller. You don't want to have jagged motions. You want to say something like, okay, I'm going to build this barracks, then I'm going to build an SCV, then I'm going to select one, I'm going to build a supply depot. BB click 5S select BS click. And you want it to be like boom, and then that sequence will be good. Start out with smaller sequences. I want to do these 3 things. Then you can go to, I want to do these 5 things. Soon enough, you're going to be like, okay, I'm going to do first this 5 things and then that 5 things. And then this is why good players, this is what we mean by having good mechanics, is that it seems like it's a hand motion thing, but it's a lot about thought. Because you're going to be in a game and you're going to say, here, there's about 50 actions that I can do. There's about 50 things that I have to do. How am I going to order them? Okay, first let me set up my defense. Then I'm going to begin scouting. And then while I'm doing that, I'm going to do the rest of my build. And then they can form an order in their head and then go, do defense, just starting to send a scout out, come back, do the build, supply depot, SCV, go back up. And that's what that is. Yeah, it's an interchangeable dynamic rhythm. Yes, Butson. That's right, Butson. Thanks, Butson. That's it. I like that answer. So we're going to end that. Thanks for watching. I'll see you tomorrow. We're going to be doing a little bit of a recappage of WCS round of 16 with yet another little analysis tomorrow. Ooh.